It is my great privilege, pleasure, and honor to be with all of you today. And I want to thank the convener of this event, Rotarian Kamal Sangvi, the co chairman programs, Rotarian Sandeep Agarwala, and Rotarian Vikram Daya for giving me the opportunity to be with all of you. And I want to sincerely thank all of you for giving me your keen attention as well. Now, how many of you, when you were children, got asked this question, what do you want to be when you grow up? बड़े होकर क्या बनना चाहते हो? Our dadas, dadis, nanas, nanis, chachas, chachis, mamas, mummies, friends, teachers, everybody kept asking us this question, what do you want to be when you grow up? A teacher once came to a classroom of 7-year-olds and asked a 7-year-old boy called Varun, Varun, what do you want to be when you grow up? Varun said, well, ma'am, I want to be a multi-billionaire. I want to have 365 cars, one for each day of the year, 20 homes, 5 chartered planes. The teacher said, I don't want an elaborate answer like that. I didn't ask you to write an essay. I asked you, what do you want to be when you grow up? The teacher then turned to another 7-year-old girl, Pooja, and said, Pooja, please answer in 2 words. Don't give an elaborate answer like Varun. Answer in 2 words. What do you want to be when you grow up? Pooja said, Varun's wife. Let Varun do all the earning and I'll get married to Varun and all that belongs to Varun is mine. Pooja must have been a Marwadi Sindhi or Gujarati girl. Now, jokes apart, we all got this question when we were young kids. What do you want to be when you grow up? The legendary singer and songwriter John Lennon from the Beatles band, when he was a young boy and he was once in school, the teacher asked all the kids in his class, what do you want to be when you grow up? And every kid gave their own answers, stereotypical answers. One said, I want to be a lawyer. The other said, I want to be an engineer. Another said, I want to be a doctor. Someone said, I want to be a businessman. Someone said, I want to be an accountant. Someone said, I want to be a pilot. And then the teacher turned to John Lennon and asked John, John, what do you want to be when you grow up? John looked at the teacher in her eyes and said, ma'am, when I grow up, I want to be happy. A little astonished and amused by the answer, the teacher looked at John and said, John, I don't think you understand the question. John looked at the teacher in her eyes and said, ma'am, I don't think you understand life. Because if you would understand life, you would know that the greatest project in life is to be happy. It's not the questions that define us, it's the answers and the responses that we give to those questions that define us, that help us grow, that help us reach the heights of success. But the fact of the matter is this, whether we are wanting to eat good food, or we are wanting to go on a holiday, or we are wanting to dress up well, or we are wanting to watch a movie or a Netflix show, or social interactions or relationships, the bottom line of it all, the expectation from it all is happiness. And we all want to earn money thinking that money can get us all those things that can give us happiness. Now, how many of you saw the Hindi movie Diwar? दीवार में वो अमिताभ बच्चन और शशि कपूर के बीच का डायलॉग है ना. अमिताभ बच्चन से टू शशि कपूर, मेरे पास बंगला है, नौकर है, चाकर है, गाड़ी है, पैसा है, तेरे पास क्या है? शशि कपूर in his emotional way, मेरे पास माँ है. 2021, the dialogue has changed. Mumbai, अमिताभ बच्चन says to शशि कपूर, मेरे पास बेंटली है, मेरे पास मर्सिडीज है, मेरे पास रोल्स रॉयस है, मेरे पास एस्टन मार्टिन है, तेरे पास क्या है? शशि कपूर, मेरे पास पार्किंग स्पेस है. In a city like Mumbai, trust me, parking space is more expensive than the car itself, I guess. But the fact of the matter is this, that most people fancy and dream about having good cars, isn't it? But I always love to say it's not the car that brings us happiness or fulfillment. It's the destination that we drive to that brings us happiness and fulfillment. People love fancy phones, smartphones, iPhone 12 Pro Max Pacific Blue, अ, लड़का होना तो हैंडसम होना चाहिए, क्योंकि स्मार्ट तो फोन भी होता है। फोन होना तो आईफोन होना चाहिए, क्योंकि S1, S2, S3, S4 ट्रेन के सेकंड क्लास के डब्बे भी होते हैं। सॉरी, किसी के पास सैमसंग है तो। लड़की होना तो अक्लमंद होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि सूरत गुजरात में भी है। Jokes apart, everybody wants a good smartphone, an iPhone 12 Pro Max, isn't it? But the fact of the matter is, it's not the phone that gives us happiness. It's the quality of our conversations on that phone that gives us happiness. It's not a Breitling, it's not an Omega that brings us happiness. It's how we utilize the time on our watches that brings us happiness, success, growth. It's not a fancy multi bedroom house that gives us happiness. It is how we live in that house. What are our relationships in that house? It's that home that gives us happiness. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not what we have that brings us happiness, it's how we live that brings us true joy, contentment, and happiness. As we have mastered the art of having more, and there's absolutely nothing wrong having more, we need to also learn to master the art of living well. As we have learned how to enhance, improvise, and escalate our standard of living, we also need to learn how to enhance, escalate, and improvise our standard of life. As we have mastered the art of being successful, we also need to master the art of feeling successful. Of course, we can have whatever we want and fulfill all our aspirations, but we need to know that all what we have can make our life more convenient and comfortable, but how we live can actually make our life happy, fulfilled, and satisfied. There's so many ways we can look at when we are talking about living well and being happy. But today I wanted to bring out one important dimension, a very crucial dimension, a very important parameter of living well and experiencing true joy and happiness. And that parameter, that element, that principle is the principle of service, the principle of giving back to the world, the principle of contributing, adding value, making a difference in the world that we live in. I remember a beautiful quote by Rabindranath Tagore. He said, I slept and I dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and I saw that life was service. I acted and behold, service was joy. Indeed, service is joy. Rotarians all over the world adhere so much to the mission statement of Rotary Club, service above the self, whether it's through their resources or raising funds or through giving their time, their skills, their organizational abilities. Rotarians are known for extending themselves to make a difference in the world and make the world a better place. Service above the self. A couple of years ago, I was in Chennai doing an event with a good 500 global CEOs. It was at the ITC Grand Chola. The event was beautiful. It was in the evening and it was a fantastic event. And after the event was over, I called my secretary and I said to my secretary, I want to meet this one gentleman tomorrow morning if it's possible. And my secretary was also like amused. Everybody's wanting to meet you and talk to you, but you want to meet someone. Who is this person that you want to meet? And I told him the name of the gentleman, gave him the telephone number so he could call him the next morning and I could have a conversation with this gentleman. The next morning, I came down to the lobby and all the all the staff at ITC Grand Chola, when they saw the man whom I was now about to have a conversation with, they were like wondering, last night you did such a massive event and this is the person you want to talk to? And I thought to myself, why not? This man is an amazing man, an incredible leader who has understood the principle of service above the self. He's understood how to live a life of purpose and meaning. The name of this gentleman was Anna Durai. He's fondly known as Anna, or even better, Auto Anna. Anna is, by his name Auto Anna, an auto rickshaw driver. His father, his brothers are auto rickshaw drivers as well. His mother works as a domestic help in a few homes, and that's how they earn their money to sustain and survive. Otto Anna, not very highly educated, dropped out of school. One day, as he was driving his auto rickshaw, one of the passengers forgot his newspaper in his auto rickshaw. Otto Anna noted that everybody who came in after this man was reading the newspaper, and time flew. The time flew as the journey proceeded. Anna thought to himself, what if I provide daily newspapers, weekly and monthly magazines, English, Tamil, Hindi, all languages for all my passengers? It'd be so good to provide this extra service to my passengers. Anna included in his rickshaw newspapers and magazines at his cost. After a while, Anna realized, hey, time has changed. Nobody reads hard copies these days. Everybody's on their phone, browsing and looking at news or whatever they need to look at on their smartphones or tablets. You know how times are today, right? Everybody's in the online digital age. Like I always ask, मैं हमेशा सबको पूछता हूँ, कभी आपने कोई धार्मिक उपवास किया है? जैसे अगर आप हिंदू हो तो जन्माष्टमी, नवरात्रि, करवा चौथ, ऐसा कोई उपवास किया है? इफ यू आर फ्रॉम द इस्लामिक कम्युनिटी, आपने कभी रोजा किया है? आई आस्क पीपल, हैव दे एवर फास्टेड लाइक अ रिलीजियस फास्ट? और अगर आज की तारीख में उपवास करना होना जी, तो खाना पीना रोकने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है। एक दिन बिना स्मार्टफोन के, बिना वाईफाई के, बिना गूगल के, बिना व्हाट्सएप के, बिना इंस्टाग्राम फेसबुक के एक दिन उपवास करके दिखाइए। भगवान खुद नीचे उतर के आएंगे और बोलेंगे, बस कर पगले, रुलाएगा क्या? We are indeed in the data digital online age, isn't it? Earlier, the love language also used to be a little spiritual, like the guy would say to the girl in the Gita, Bhagavad Gita, or spiritual language, he would say, मैं शरीर हूं, तू मेरी आत्मा है. Now the love language has changed. The guy says, मैं स्मार्टफोन हूं, तू मेरी सिम कार्ड है. एंड द गर्ल सेज, मैं भगवान से प्रार्थना कर रही हूँ कि तेरा स्मार्टफोन ड्यूअल सिम कार्ड वाला नहीं हो. Oh yeah, Anna realized nobody is reading printed newspapers, everybody's browsing on their smartphones. So Anna decided to provide a high speed Wi-Fi connection at his cost in the auto rickshaw. Not only that, one day a student had forgotten his laptop and he had an assignment to finish before he reached his college. Anna realized that he needed to provide this facility as well. At his own cost, he brought in his auto rickshaw and a Samsung Galaxy Note, an iPad with an Apple Pencil. He got a laptop, and all of these facilities he provided in his auto rickshaw to add value to his passengers, to his customers. He even had a swiping machine for people to use their credit cards to pay, like what, 5 rupees or 10 rupees. When I met him in his rickshaw, he had installed a Google Assistant and a refrigerator, a mini refrigerator to provide cool water and cool drinks for his passengers. I saw in Anna an incredible leader, someone who did not believe that work was about making money. He believed that work was about making a difference. And when you make a difference, money comes, numbers come, success comes. Otto Anna has an app. And in Chennai, there are his faithful clientele who only book Otto Anna wherever they want to go. He's invited all over the world to speak at TEDx events, TED Talks, corporate seminars, to talk about this principle of the fundamental premise of business being making a difference. But that's not all. That's still work. Through all this work, the one dream that Otto Anna has is I had to drive auto rickshaws because of my financial situation, family situation. I couldn't really complete my school and my education. But I do not want any poor child, financially poor child, in my community, in my area, in and around Chennai, to drive auto rickshaws and drop out of school. So our Otto Anna's dream is to serve. It is to make a difference in the lives of children, underprivileged children, by providing them education. He started a website and he's trying to save all the money and trying to get people to help him to make that difference by providing free education and quality education for these underprivileged children. When I met Otto Anna, I saw in him a person who was happy. I saw in him a person who was fulfilled, who was satisfied, and he was just driving auto rickshaw. He didn't have too many resources. He didn't have too many facilities. He didn't have too many avenues through which he could serve. But he did his level best, and he still continues to do his level best to make that difference. All of you are in leading positions in the society, and you've also taken up this mantle to make a difference in your own way. And that's what Rotary Club is about: serving, giving back to the world, contributing, adding value, making a difference. Don't they say it's easy to make a buck? It's hard to make a difference. Ladies and gentlemen, you're doing extremely well by making the bucks and also making an incredible difference in the world that we live in. Did Mark Twain say there are two most important days in your life? One is the day when you were born, and two is the day when you find out why. And I'm so very convinced that all of you definitely know the day you were born, but you also know the day why you were born. It's precisely for that that you walk the extra mile, you stretch yourself beyond your families, beyond your work, beyond your business, and try to make that difference. Extend your hand to serve and thereby bring smiles on people's faces. I want to express my gratitude for all the wonderful, commendable work that all of you do, and congratulate all of you for leading such an incredible, purposeful, and meaningful life. Thank you all very much.